Hi, and welcome back to another Wheels and Journeys YouTube review. I'm your host, Prashirwin Naidu, and today we are in the new Fortuner, the Toyota Fortuner GRS Sport. And to my thinking and to my likes, this is actually the first time I've gotten behind the wheel of it, so I'm quite smitten. Obviously, we know Toyota and their sales, and the Fortuner, it's very popular. It's known for its reliability, that robust 2.8 turbo diesel GDI engine. But alas, yes, we are in this trusted steed, and I'm honestly thinking it's not that bad, perhaps, although the high risk factor is a major toll, and one is quite the target, to be fair with you. And I am quite in a speedy hurry because I'm heading home as the Toyota team are about to collect this beast. But alas, what is different, what is new? Well, this is a quick review. I am sharing with you what stirred the soul, perhaps. Well, its design, you'll notice it's been refreshed. It looks a bit more meaner. You'll notice your GR badges galore, blacked out wheels. It just has a more, a cooler presence to it. It's a bit more out there. It's less bland and boring than your standard Fortuner. Inside, you'll notice the trim levels are different as well. Your Alcantara stitching, red leather trims throughout, and the seats are not bad. Perhaps I like everything, but I noticed that Toyota they quite dated in most things, like this infotainment system. It still feels like it's stuck in the year 2015. But alas, they also kept that old analog or digital, clock in the middle, which is great. But other than that, there's just GR badges galore. It's a bit more of a premium, subtle twist to this cabin that is still familiar than your standard version Toyota. So at least you can boast to your friends of a bride and be like, listen, I got the new GRS Sport, GR Sport Fortuner, which is good. But that being said, yes, it's not that bad. The trim, the level of trim is nice. The badges are nice. It looks quite mean. It's a fresh twist, which is what I think adds the appeal to the market in the segment. And pricing is about 999,000 rand. So under a mil, you're getting something quite robust. But alas, it's, for me, the thing that lingers in my mind is that high risk factor. And the motor as well, it's been bumped up by a little 15 kilowatts as well. It has about 165 kilowatts. Newton meters are put right there in the screen, but you won't notice it. It's not obvious. It's not noticeable at all. You won't notice the slight power bump, and it's still the same setup. Even your boot space, your seats, those foldable seats, still the same setup, still the same. I'm glad there's a lot of multiple Type-C ports in the back as well. You do have your USB port in front, but other than that, it's just old school and it's functional. The JBL sound system is nice. Everything just feels nice, and it's a very robust motor. I was getting about 9.8 liters per 100 kilometers of conservative driving. Now I'm obviously putting some pedals in the metal. It's in sports mode. How it feels, well, it's a body on frame ladder chassis, so it is quite nimble, it's quite agile enough, but it's also just stable. It's stable, and it has that robustness and that grunt when you need it to, and it still holds its weight quite well as well, especially in the cornering, especially with its enhanced suspension as well, which is a real treat. But in this category, in this segment, competitors wise, I look at the likes of the Isuzu MU-X and the Ford Everest, especially the new revised Isuzu MU-X, which is just, they've really amped up the antics there with their suspension, their digital cluster, their infotainment screen. They've given it a modern flavor and twist. But it's still, it drives nicely. And the Ford Everest, the 3-liter V6 Platinum, I quite like that. So if you ask me which would my money be on, realistically, the Fortuner is a recipe that most South Africans love. It's been tried, it's been tested, and Toyota has that reputability. My biggest factor is that high risk factor. My biggest factor is also just you're a target. That's obviously the elephant in the room here. But what they've done with this GRS Sport package and given it some spunk to it, it's still the same recipe. It's still the same thing. It's just more, it has more zing and flavor. That's what I can say. And when you think of, let's say, yes, the Ford Everest, that's a different creme de la creme. It's more plusher, it's more refined. So I think as a consumer, you are quite in for something. I think you kind of have to really think of where do you want to splurge here. So let's look at it. I think for now, this is obviously a quick, short, sweet review. I'm about to head home now. They're about to pick up this car. Unfortunately, I do wish I had some time to really do a nice in-depth review, but these days it's just the hustle and bustle can really be getting to you guys and myself. So yes, you can read the full article review where I just break down what is really obviously different from its design cues to, you know, its looks and its, you know, its engine and its power bump. But other than that, it's still robust, and I like it. I think it would be my pick, honestly, because of its recipe and its reliability and durability. But that being said, yeah, I'm not gonna really get into it as well. But thank you so much. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the Wheels and Journeys YouTube channel. And of course, read my full article review down below. That's where I actually want you guys to really get an idea of everything, because, you know, that is what I like to do mostly. But anyways, take care, have a fantastic week ahead, and cheers. Catch you on the next one. Bye.